Warning, the Renegade Recruiter is not for the soft, timid, or faint-hearted. If you need permission or seek approval from your mother, spouse, mates in the pub, or anyone else for that matter, this really isn't for you. If any of what you've heard puts you off in the slightest, I advise you not to listen any further. You've been warned. Prepare yourself for the no bullshit, zero fluff. Quick, dirty, and uncensored secrets for any serious recruitment, staffing, and search business owner who wants to earn more money with less work and fewer headaches, without having to kiss ass or bend over backwards to please anyone. He's a relentless and fearless renegade who will stop at nothing to reveal the harsh, unforgiving, and brutal truth about what it really takes to succeed in this business. He's a guy people love to hate and hate to love. It's your host, Terry Edwards. The Renegade Recruiter is unleashed.
Hello. This is Terry Edwards, Renegade Recruiter, and welcome to this week's podcast. And of course, we're joined by our co-host, Drew. How are you, Drew?
I'm good, thank you, Terry. How are you?
I'm very good indeed. And this week, our guest is Justin from Conversion Fanatics, and I've got the name right, so that's a bonus in itself. Justin, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excellent. So without further ado, let's get going.
So, Justin, for anyone who doesn't know of you or doesn't know who you are, can you give us sort of the brief intro as to who you are and what you do now?
I'm a 14-year digital veteran in the digital marketing world, best-selling author on the topic of conversion optimization, as well as a co-founder and president of a digital marketing optimization agency called Conversion Fanatics, where we help companies get more out of their advertising efforts through on-site optimization, user experience, different things centered around optimization and split testing.
Awesome. Good stuff. And tell us a bit about your background and how you came to do what you do now.
Well, I actually started out in network marketing back in 2002-ish. Quickly figured out that I wasn't cut out for the belly-to-belly run into people in the bookstore type recruiting, so I turned to the internet and figured out that I could generate leads online. And from there, it kind of took me into affiliate marketing, and then I was fortunate enough to partner up with a couple of great guys in an information publishing company where we grew it to, I think, just shy of about $9 million in revenue at the time. And I sold my company ownership back to my partners in 2009 and kept getting asked all the time about optimization and implementation and the technology behind it. And from there, it kind of spiraled into what is now Conversion Fanatics.
And how would you sort of summarize what Conversion Fanatics do, Justin?
Well, we help companies that know they should be split testing or want better results. They want more sales, they want more leads, and they're spending money on advertising, and we help them do that through the implementation of figuring out what the visitors on their site want and deliver their product or their message in a way that appeals most to the audience, and in turn giving them better results.
Also get it, yeah. Excellent.
Justin, to anyone that's completely alien to what split testing is, can you just give us your definition, how you describe it?
Yeah, in simplest terms, I guess it is comparing apples to apples or apples to oranges or apples to bananas in terms of on-site experience. So every element on a page is needed to be split tested. So we might test a green button versus an orange button for the simplest terms, and to see how many people actually click on or take a desired action based on the colors, the copy, the layout, the imagery, all of those elements.
And is there any particular sector that you work with, Justin?
Any particular what? Sorry?
Any particular niche that you
we typically stick with e-commerce or software as a service, and I use the term e-commerce lightly. But e-commerce in the sense that it isn't just a store filled with a bunch of products, but more that there is a key performance indicator needed on site. So there's a lead or a sale generated online.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so that can kind of that's quite a breadth there, but that's excellent. And before we kind of get more into detail, tell us something about you that not many people know about you, Justin.
That they don't really know about me?
Yeah.
Well, I was a former rodeo bull rider.
Oh, wow.
So most people in the business world don't really know that about me, but in my teens and into my early 20s, I was a competitive bull rider in the rodeos.
Wow, how long did you do that for?
I think I did it for about 9 years.
Awesome. Yeah, as you probably gathered, Justin, our English audience will have, we've only seen that on TV, so actually to meet somebody that's done it for a living that's quite amazing.
Yeah, it was exciting times when I was younger.
Yeah. So how on earth do you go from that into what you're doing now? There's different as chalk and cheese, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of entrepreneurial growing up. Had a baseball card shop, sports cards, mowed lawns, did things like that, growing up. And my dad was always pretty entrepreneurial. And at the time, I went to college after high school and got a degree in industrial electrical technology, of all things, and became an electrician, where I was building buildings and wiring, different things. And I realized that I wasn't really cut out for the 70 plus hours of manual labor a week and needed to find something different, and my eyes were open thanks to network marketing to a bigger world. I mean, I grew up in a very small town of about 400 people in rural North Dakota here in the U.S., and it was a small farming community. And I just didn't really know what the world had in store. And then once network marketing really allowed me to open my eyes to that, as well as personal development, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah. So you've it's quite a varied background. The network marketing, has that been useful in what you're doing now?
It has to a point, but I believe it's helped me in the way that all network marketing companies really teach about personal development and personal growth, and that one element has really stuck with me. Before then, I wasn't really, much into reading or, trying to better myself until I really started in the network marketing industry, and then that stuck with me, throughout my entire career.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and personal development, whatever career you're in, that would help anybody in any career, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, and I didn't really know much about it until then. I was, growing up in the small farming community, it was just go out and work and do your best, and there wasn't really anything about, just constantly trying to be better or, just opening your eyes to, bigger and better things.
So Justin, in terms of personal development, who's been the biggest influence on your business life? If you had to name one person who sort of changed.
Ooh, that's tough to name just one. I've gotten influence from a lot of different places and a lot of different books. It really just depends on, what I'm in the mood for that time or what kind of struggles I'm seeing. But I started off early, reading things from all of the books from Robert Kiyosaki. Of course, like T. Harv Eker, Wayne Dyer, all of those things. I mean, I read so many books. I read over 50 books last year. So just constantly looking for different things and different angles. So, I mean, I've just read and consumed so much information from so many people that, it's hard to just nail down one.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I always find as well, like you, I read a lot, and I remember things, and I can then never remember where I read it. Whether it was, Anthony Robbins or Brian Tracy or Wayne, whoever. I can never actually remember where I got it from. So I can totally get that.
Yeah, that's the same thing for me.
Yeah. So big factor in your life, personal development, and that, and you got that from the initially with your introduction into network. So you've had quite a varied background. What would you say are some of the biggest mistakes you've made in your business life, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, the biggest things would probably not trusting my gut. It's probably one of the biggest things.
Could you give an example?
I mean, just really sticking things out. I mean, I known, particularly even in recent years, just knowing that a relationship with a potential client just doesn't seem right, and kind of forcing the situation to become a client and work with them. You can help, but you're just not really sure how much, and you force the situation a little bit, and it never ends up well. So just trusting my gut that it wasn't probably the right thing to do there, or it wasn't right to really just force that situation and force the engagement. And we've since backtracked, and just, if we can't help, we're the first to say no. And that's really helped us tremendously move forward.
Yeah.
And when you say it's helped you move forward, in what way? How has it helped you?
Just better client relationships, just all around. I mean, everybody's happier. My team is happier. I'm happier. Our clients are happier because we're not forcing the situation and just worrying about, and it's not such a grind to help them when we just choose the right people to work with.
Yeah, I totally get that. And Drew and I, sadly, have done that as well in our time, and not perhaps listened to our gut when sometimes working with clients that we have doubts about. So yeah. And
Justin, what about? I mean, we talked about some of the mistakes in your business. What about other people's mistakes? What are some of the common mistakes you see from business owners?
Is one of the biggest things that I probably see, and I critique a lot of sites, 100 plus a month. Typically. So one of the biggest things that I see is people just shouting from the rooftops on how great their products are and how great their features are. And across the board, it is that they just are so much about, look at how great we are, instead of what's in it for me as the consumer of that product or service, and what are the benefits. So just switching gears from the features to more of the benefits side of things, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes in terms of digital marketing that I see people make.
Okay.
Yeah. We used to have a coach, and he used to say to us, the only people that care about you and your logo is your close family. Other than that, no one really cares. So stop talking about it. Yeah, really good point. And you talked earlier about some of the mistakes you've made, and we've all made mistakes and had failures. How do you personally, Justin, deal with failure?
It used to hit me really, really hard. But I've learned over the years that failure is just part of the journey. And if you're not failing, you're not going hard enough. So I try to screw things up every day.
Could be you.
I just go out and try to break stuff. And then I really have switched my mindset around. Instead of seeing it as necessarily a failure, I try to look for the positive in it. And out of that positive, I try to say, what did I learn from it? And it's kind of evolved into what our company motto is. And that is pretty much continuous improvement daily. So the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, where you're just striving for slight improvements every single day. And that's all I instill upon our team here, and in part of our whole entire company culture is just try to be better than we were yesterday. What can we do to even be 1% better than we were yesterday? Yeah. And that's served me really well.
Oh, what a great philosophy there. Excellent.
Awesome. And what about in terms of your business? What do you do to grow your business? How do you market your services?
Roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty. We found really early on that the majority of our target audience, at least the people that we want to work with specifically, aren't out there searching for the solution. They're not out there browsing a news feed on Facebook. They're not at the traditional channels. So it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of testing. And we just try different unique ways, from direct mail to direct outreach, with the people that we want to work with, to establish a relationship and give them value first before we ever even discuss working with each other.
You're listening to the Renegade Recruiter Unleashed podcast. For show notes, additional resources, and podcast updates, head over to www.therenegaderecruiter.com.
So you're a fan of direct mail?
It's been effective for us, yeah.
Yeah, we use it as well, yeah. Excellent. So you kind of touched on it. You talked about direct mail and so on. Are you okay to sort of share some of the things that you do, to get business? You said direct mail. What sort of things are you doing in terms of direct mail and other forms of communication to your potential clients?
It's just back to basics, really. It's just, where are they at, and give them something of value in exchange. So we'll typically send a letter, potentially an endorsement letter from one of their peers, another company that we have worked with, kind of highlighting and somebody else saying how good we are, rather than us. And we lead with something of value, like I said. So we'll try to give them ideas on where they should split test, or things that they could do to improve their site before they ever even think about hiring us. So we try to lead it with there to open up the conversation and say, hey, here's some good stuff. Whether you hire us or not, you're going to get some value out of it. So that's been very effective. And since I've been fortunate enough to be a #1 best-selling author, the book has been a great leverage tool to drive, customers and clients to our business.
And could you share with the audience the name of your book, Justin?
The book is actually coincidentally called Conversion Fanatic: How to Double Your Customer Sales and Profits with A/B Testing.
It's a bestseller, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got lucky. It was an Amazon bestseller in several different categories for a couple weeks there.
Awesome. I just want to go back to this endorsed mailing that you do. So you send, you have a list of prospects, and you send an endorsed mailing from someone you've done good work with already. Is this something you write yourself and then sort of show it to the client and say, is this okay to send, or do you get the client to write it and you send it out? How does that work?
Either way. We've tested both ways, and we really haven't found any real difference. But yeah, it's basically a glorified testimonial. Somebody, a CEO of some company is saying, "Hey, these guys are great. I had I was fortunate enough to, be able to work with them, and here are kind of the results that I see, and I endorse them, completely." So it kind of takes that edge off a little bit, and really opens up the lines of communication.
Awesome. And once you sent that initial letter, what do you do next? What's the next step in sort of your campaign?
Follow up.
Is that on the
constantly?
phone?
What's that?
When you say follow up, do you mean you'd actually call them on the phone?
Yeah, call them on the phone. Just a direct, quick email. Because we're sending. We're just not out there mass emailing people. Because obviously that's spam. But we're just one-on-one emails.
Yeah. Additional
direct mail pieces. So we'll send, for example, a copy of the book, and say, hey, let me know when it's a good time for us to discuss your optimization efforts, things like that. And anything that we can do to kind of build that level of trust, build that level of value that we're giving them, and anything we can do to engage and get the conversation started.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Awesome. And in terms of response, when you sent this endorsed mailing and then you follow up, what sort of response are you getting from the clients that you managed to get through to? Or potentially?
About 15% response.
Wow.
Total. Overall, everything. That's to appointment, so getting them on the phone.
Yeah. So 15% response, and then I assume you use the phone call to sell to them, to sell your services to them. Where do you go from there?
Well, we usually use the phone call as kind of a discovery phase. So we'll figure out what they got going on and see if we can help. Find out what pains they're going through, what struggles they're coming up against, and see if what we offer is a solution to help them do that. We usually, we do a very consultative approach. So we always just try to add value anywhere that we can.
Awesome. So you say you get about 15% response. What do you do with the ones who don't respond? Is there any initial follow up there, or do you sort of let them die, so to speak?
Just let them die, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, we have gone back and revisited it, maybe 6 months or 6-9 months down the road, where we'll go back to some of the key prospects and we'll just send kind of another little piece of value and see if we can engage, because sometimes the timing just isn't right.
Yeah, that's true enough. Tell me, are you familiar with the book Ultimate Sales Machine, Chet Holmes?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes. He talks a lot about that technique in his book. Excellent. And on the subject of books, are there any? You're clearly a big reader. What have been the books that you would recommend to any business owner today, Justin?
One of the ones, I mean, obviously you can't count out Influence, Psychology of Persuasion is probably one of my all-time favorites.
Which one's that, sorry?
Robert Cialdini's Influence.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. Yeah.
One of the better ones that I've read in the last probably 6 to 9 months or so is Playing to Win by A.G. Lafley. He's the former chairman and CEO of Procter & Gamble.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fantastic book. Just really, got into the minds of what a massive, massive organization is like, and their, philosophies on a lot of things, and some of their failures in the marketing world, and their dealings with competitors, and all of those things. It was very eye-opening there.
Yeah.
You mentioned one, the Ultimate Selling Machine.
Yeah.
The Greatest Salesman in the World.
No, I'm not. Is that a book, did you say? The Greatest Salesman in the World?
Yep.
Oh, I've heard that one. Who's that by?
I'm not even sure the name, but it was the guy that was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most retail car sales.
Oh, I know the book. It's by Og Mandino or something. Yes, I know the book. Yeah,
it's kind of an odd name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, I know. Yeah, we featured him. Yeah, but yeah, excellent.
Awesome. And what advice would you give to any entrepreneur or business owner who wanted to sort of take their business to the next level?
Pay attention to your visitors.
Yeah.
Pay attention to your target audience. They're going to be your biggest catalyst. They're going to tell you exactly what you're doing wrong or what you're doing right. Sometimes we don't want to hear what we're doing wrong, but oftentimes that can help be of tremendous value and get us over a lot of hurdles. And it allows us to deliver a better product or service if you just take a moment and listen.
On that, would you recommend actually going to potential clients and be it carrying out a survey, or giving them a call and saying, look, what's your what are we doing wrong? Would you recommend that kind of approach?
Yeah, I mean, it works all the time. I mean, we do it at our company. So during kind of the course of the initial engagement, we'll have somebody other than the people that they're talking to on a regular basis, like project managers and things like that. And we'll have somebody else call them for like a 15-minute chat, just saying, hey, wanted to see if you had any questions, concerns, areas that we need to address. And having that kind of third party will allow them to be very candid with that person over, discussing their frustrations with a project manager.
Yeah, that's good. So that's really listening to your clients and what's going on in their worlds. Yeah. Anything else in terms of advice you'd give to somebody who wants to grow their business?
Any other advice?
Yeah.
Just really focus. kind of back to what I just said, but really focus on what the pain points are of your target audience. And then it's simply this: don't give up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the old cliche, but it's there. And one thing I've experienced here even recently is the world's going to try to test you in the business world. They're going to throw different curveballs at you, and you're going to recognize it as kind of a rough time, but you need to recognize it that they're testing you, and it's that you need to push forward a little bit because you're on the verge of something big. So it's to understanding that every single business person out there, successful or not, even the most successful people in the world, have issues. They have problems. They have setbacks in their business. So it's just those that persevere and push through all of that are the ones that win.
Yeah. Excellent. And I've heard that said before, it's a test, and you're being tested. It's not always easy to remember when you're in the thick of the challenge, though, is it?
No, it's not at all. It doesn't always come to you in the form of a business problem either. It could be a personal problem, a family problem, could be all sorts of different things that pulls your attention away from where it should be. And it's when you can push through that, and that's when the big breakthroughs happen. And I just experienced one not too terribly long ago. And it was definitely eye-opening, and I'm still kind of reeling from that.
Yeah.
And it just happens to everybody, and it's what you do with it that can make or break you.
Yeah. I mean, you said this happened to you quite recently. Would you mind sharing more about that?
Yeah, we had some pretty major health stuff in my family that required an extensive surgery. Not to get into too crazy personal details, but it required extensive surgery and some things there. So it really kind of derailed the progress and the effort and everything in work, and it was really pulling me away from the business and the growth things, because obviously I need to take care of my family. Yeah. And that's the main thing, and that's the reason why I work so hard. But it just really sucked the wind out of the sails, so to say. And it was weird because during that time we had done a test to do a trade show. We went and sponsored an event and had a booth and stuff there, and as a result it ended up with close to 50 companies that wanted to work with us. So that was towards the tail end of it, and it was just all of the chaos leading up to me not being able to go to the event and reorganizing things and dealing with the family stuff that we managed to pull it off despite everything that was happening, and it ended up being very successful for us.
Well done, Justin, and being able to do that. That's awesome. Throughout your life, we talked about some of the books you've read. You talked about the personal development people that you've studied and so on. Who's been the biggest influence on your business journey?
Well, lots of people, but I do have one particular mentor that has really helped me see things in a different light. He's a guy, he's in his mid-50s, and he basically, about 10 years ago or so, he was given 6 months to live. And he pushed through that, ended up with a liver transplant, then liver cancer, then a bunch of other surgeries, and even a little bit before that, he lost a good chunk of his net worth in the downturn of like 08, 09 here in the US. And he still, despite all of that, is one of the most positive people that I've ever met in my life, and he has bounced back to be more successful than he ever has been in his entire career. And he has just always talked to me about living your best life daily. And people talk all the time about if tomorrow never comes and all of these different things, you've only got today. And it took me a long time for that to really sink in a way. And that's kind of something that's shaped our continuous improvement daily type philosophy at our company too. But despite all of his challenges and all of his setbacks, he's been able to bounce back and be more successful and still be this happy-go-lucky, super, super positive person. And taking his positivity has really impacted me in my career and personally.
Fantastic. Justin, that was really, really powerful stuff that you shared with us today. I really appreciate that. Some real gems there. Thank you very much indeed, Justin. Thanks a lot, Drew.
Yeah, hopefully it was some value, and I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
No, real pleasure. Excellent. This is Terry Edwards, Renegade Recruiter. Until next time, take care, take action, and be relentless.